So who is more evil? John Wayne Gacy or Adolf Hitler?
Gut reaction is to say Hitler, because Hitler has killed more people, or indirectly was responsible for more people dying. But then the counter is, Hitler at the very least was like a political leader with aspirations. He was helping somebody, ostensibly, right? The Aryan race or the German people or whatever the John Wayne Gacy was just a crazy serial killer, right? So he wasn't helping anybody. So his actions were entirely self-driven. He affected far fewer people. Hitler was at least trying to help some people, but he ended up hurting far more people.
On a personal level, I think that John Wayne Gacy was probably more evil as an individual because the way he killed people was way more intimate and gratuitous. But Hitler was more evil.
This guy is a true fan. Oh my God. Is this real or am I about to watch an AI thing? Collect Trump cards. Wait, is he still selling these? Wait, is this current?
Dunno.
Kamala Harris, please. I know somebody listens to my stream who is tangential in the farthest way is connected to her campaign. That absolutely needs to happen at least one time.
Roenn.
Yes.
You are Destiny's arguably #1 cult member in terms of notoriety and artistic significance.
I mean, I'm honored.
Wait, this is like a half meme thing, or is this going to be even serious? Or
I'll take it.
Who is this? This is the guy that does the songs. He's this guy.
How jacket infringe the systemic and meta-ethical.
Stop.
How did you feel?
Look at that glorious hair. My God.
Watching me destroy.
How does this guy's a studio? Do you think he's in Austin? He must be. I wonder if he rents this space or if he...
You are Destiny's arguably #1 cult member in terms of notoriety and artistic significance.
I mean, I'm honored. I'll take it.
How did you feel watching me destroy your cult leader live on his own stream?
Oof.
And why do you think he has such a difficult time understanding that the far left and far right are equally ideologically abhorrent, if not, even if the current balance of power may lean one way or another?
I think Destiny spanked your bare bottom, Paul. There, I said it.
Just today, listen to your convo with Sam Harris. Love your points about how explaining the extremist woke left with the right lack of policy. Very good point about how you need both sides of the table. I don't fully understand that sentence, but thank you.
And I also think that this is always going to come back to an argument of proportion, right? So you can always point to a position on the extremes of a spectrum that are equally bad, but then the question then becomes like, what proportion of people on each side actually like subscribe to that particular ideology? And so I think that in our current culture, the dangerous ideas of the far right are far more pervasive, and they're believed by far more people, and they're enacted more. And I think that whenever you look at that, like the equivalent of genuine communism, versus like far-right fascism, ethno-nationalism. These two things are not even comparable in terms of their reach in public discourse. Yeah, today. In general,
okay, this is the only
question.
argument that has any strength, which is, of course, which is we accept that far left and far right are obviously equally bad in their ideological extremes.
If you conceptualize them like they're both the worst versions, then yes.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, we shouldn't. Destiny's point seemed to be, well, we shouldn't even frame it that way because it gives the illusion that as of right now the proportions are equal. And I would say, that's pointless, or that's not the right heuristic to look at, because truth needs to be our heuristic. And if the radical right are more of a threat in the long term, which I could even be convinced of, I think Christian nationalism is deeply problematic. Banning contraception, banning evolution in schools, it's like, that's absolute trash.
I wish truth has to be like, how do you, I feel like I'm trying to explain something that's so intuitively obvious. Truth exists at different contextual levels, and you need to, if you only have bits and pieces, even if all of your statements are true, if they're not presented correctly, they could be untrue. So for instance, say I give you 2 investment opportunities, and I say, hey, here's an investment opportunity. Their growth over the last 5 years averaged, like 7%. And then here's another investment opportunity, and their growth over the last 5 years was, 50%. What's the better investment opportunity? Well, these can be 2 true statements, but you need more information to make an informed decision, right? You're not just going off of ROI, you're going off of RR. Like you want to, what is it, R risk adjusted return or whatever. Like you have to adjust for risk. Like even if, and that's just one of like a multitude of factors for any investment, right? Just having a couple of true points isn't enough to say that you understand the truth about a thing. You need more than that. to have overall a good understanding of something. So being able to say like, oh, well, two things are bad. Okay, sure. But when you say things, you're encompassing a whole lot of political space there, right? The entirety of the left, the entirety of the right. There's a whole bunch of implications that are going along with that statement. And we need to expand on that to be saying something meaningful or something that's not false, right? Even if you're saying true things, you know. You explain this exact thing to him with Candace Owens, where she says things that are factual, but you never say that Candace says true things. Sure, yeah. Oh yeah, and I used the coin flipping example. That was a good example. I need to remember that in the future. I need to remember that. That was such a good example.
And in a much deeper way than, it's like, oh, it's just banning evolution in schools. Like, I actually would put that as a far more insidious thing than most people realize. The long-term effects of that are way worse than people realize. But we have to acknowledge that what I said at the individual level, like, do you agree that a member of Antifa is as psychologically degenerate as a member of, like the Proud Boys was? Proud Boys is a bad example that he...
I don't like this. I hate that I have to clarify this because it sounds like I'm simping for Antifa. Chances are, if you've ever been in an Antifa march or rally or whatever the fuck, I probably wouldn't like you. We're not going to be very politically similar. But Antifa, as a collection of marchers or whatever the fuck, you know, is not the same as a discrete, specific movement. Not to say one is good or one is bad, but these are two different things. They're a different thing in kind. It's a different kind of thing.
Kept bringing it up because
they were
run by
very
a Fed.
hyper-specific.
Yeah, and then also, you know, Enrique Tarrio is a federal agent. You saw that, right?
Just like Nick Fuentes.
There's no evidence of this whatsoever. But
Maybe.
No, I'm not, no, that's a joke that Nick Fuentes is. Enrique
know.
Tarrio
He actually is
literally an FBI informant. Channel 5 did the...
FBI informant doesn't mean anything. That could mean a whole multitude of, like, he ratted on the FBI one time 20 years ago, or ratted to them, or he cooperated with them in the investigation because he knew he was fired. Like, that could be a whole multitude of things. Such a pointless statement.
The documentary on, I think it was January 6th, and the whole... actually, it was a lot of right-wing stuff. And
this assuming the psychological profile of single members of groups like this is just dumb. Maybe.
Enrique Tarrio is a FBI informant.
Like, actually, like, for sure.
Works for the FBI and says so.
Like that, those are two different okay, I don't think I can watch this. So much political stuff just comes down to not understanding what, like a confidential informant.
It was a lot of right-wing
is not the same as working for the FBI as like an employee or being like an undercover agent. These are all different things, right? Leonardo DiCaprio worked for, not the feds, I guess it would have been the whatever the fuck police department. He worked for the police department directly. He wasn't just an informant, right?
Stuff. And Enrique Tarrio is a FBI informant.
Like, actually, like, for sure.
Works for the FBI and says so. And sells T-shirts as well.
Damn.
So the Proud Boys is a bad example, I think. But whatever, is it Patriot Front? Are those the white nationalists who walk around?
I have no
They're
idea.
also feds. But let's just say, hypothetically, there is certainly, whoever did the Charlottesville Tiki Torch people, what are they called? The Charlottesville
Wasn't that the Proud Boys?
crowd?
Just a bunch of Richard Spencer fans, I guess.
The far right. Okay, far right. Mm-hmm. A member of the far right is as morally degenerate as a member of Antifa.
I don't think so. And I would say it for the reasons that Destiny said it, because it's...
Yeah, how many people marched? How many, like, Antifa marchers were there? And how many like BLM marchers? Probably millions of people. Is there like an estimate? How many people total protested BLM summer? Oh, Jesus, 15 and 26 million people. God damn.
It's about, like, if your question to me was like, if there were two equivalently bad groups on the right and left, would I say that they're equivalently bad? I would say yes. But that's the problem, is it's like you're pointing to one group on the left, which is just this extremely broad umbrella term for anybody who is vaguely like anti-fascist, and then like a very specific group of people on the right who are like, we want to enslave black people, like we want to have a white ethno state. And so I can't draw an equivalency there. But if there was a group just like that on the left, like, what I would say is like
maybe the Black Panthers, or maybe like BLM the org. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know enough about the Black Panthers to say. But
the Black Hebrew Israelite communists.
P.F. Jung comes off fairly level-headed and is clearly smart, but he holds so much water for conservatives with his retarded centrism. Well, the thing is, I don't know how much of it just comes down to not having the information, like the discrete points of fact, which kind of is, funnily enough, goes back to what J.J. McCullough said, where he was saying we need to stop teaching kids how to be smart and just teach them things or something. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to that, or it's important to have both, right?
As a group just like that on the left, like, what I would say is like the Black Hebrew Israelite communists say, if there's a group of them on the left who are like, we want to have an authoritarian communist, command economy, and we hate white people and we want to have a black ethno state, I would say they are just as bad
how about
as
the pro-Hamas
the Proud Boys
left?
then. Yeah, I would put them in the same camp. If you genuinely support 10-7, then you're a monster, for sure.
Okay, but at an individual level, you agree that someone who is willing to join a far-right group is as bad as someone willing to join Antifa, who explicitly uses violence.
Like, as bad? I mean, like, bad is such a vague, broad, like, why are they bad? I think you have to dive into the like the reasons why people join these groups, the things that they're, like aiming for, policy or socially, wise, and then you have to. That's such a broad brush to use to paint people. I don't know. That's a really hard one. Like, is somebody that joins, like the IDF, like good or bad, or worse than somebody that joins, I don't know, the Palestinian Authority police force? Like, it's just such a hard. It's not even hard. It's impossible, right?
I don't want to use the Antifa example because I don't feel. I mean, that's just such a broad term. I don't want to.
Weird thing. I had to see this whole. This is.
Because they're not a group. It is just a broad term used to describe any person who wants to say that they're Antifa.
Destiny's number one cult member.
It's true. I'm sorry. It's
correct.
true.
That's true.
They have different.
They have different organizational structures. Now listen, you don't have to parrot Destiny's talking points. Okay, obviously you're as good as I can do right now.
He got them from me.
And well, I'm probably not going back on Destiny's stream anytime soon since they've been so mean to me in the comments and clearly works to my detriment.
Jesus.
But
be nice, EDG. Come on, guys.
But you say okay, Antifa's not good. It's like the argument was, well, the Proud Boys is a formalized group with a formalized structure, and Antifa is this vague idea. It's like, okay, agreed, that's a structural difference. However, the assumption in that argument is it's definitely worse to be more organized. That could be true, but I could just as easily...
The assumption in that argument is that it's worse to be more organized? Well, no, the assumption in that argument is you can speak more meaningfully about a Proud Boys member than you can about an Antifa protester, right? The Proud Boys is going to have a bit more narrow of a definition. Kind of like how you could probably say more about the members of a particular church than you can about the members in a diocese than you can about the members of an entire like faith or something, right? Like it's just more specific, right?
Make a logical argument that says, well, because there isn't a structure, it's diffuse, it's ideological, it capitalizes on people's psychological maladies, and it causes riots, and it's unstructured.
Okay.
It's precisely because there is no structure to the extreme elements of the left that it allowed those riots to get out of hand and become violent when they should have been peaceful.
I think
most of the time were, sure, but those that completely went off the rails were arguably went off the rails because they had no structure. So
Sure.
well, they're structurally different. It's like, that's it. That is autistic. That is narrowing the frame.
No.
Here's why. It's narrowing the frame. I'm asking individually, psychologically, fundamentally, morally. Is a person who wants to be part of Antifa and put on the mask and throw bricks in black people's businesses equally morally degenerate as a freak on the far right who carries a tiki torch and says, we want a white ethnic state? I would say unequivocally, obviously, yes. Okay.
Like, that's true, but now that has nothing to do with like Antifa or the Proud Boys. You're just talking about like maybe people that are willing to engage in political violence. But even at that, I think that if you want to have like a conversation at this level, you need to be willing to explore like motivations and goals, right? Is a person who is willing to, fight in the South during the Civil War the same as a person who was willing to fight in the North for the Civil War, right? Like, there are some tropes for the South that even make the South more immediately sympathetic, right? Well, they were fighting a defensive war and the North was invading. They just wanted to expand their freedoms and the North was trying to take them away. They were, I mean, obviously not for black people, but it's just the analysis begs for further exploration.
Okay,
then,
there's a missing piece here.
The autistic hedge is, well, but you have to put them in the context of, well, what is...
Oh, that's true. Do you think you can shorten the argument if you just say MAGA and Antifa are equal? Yeah, that's true. You should compare Antifa to like MAGA. Although even MAGA might be a bit more specific because at least they rally around a particular candidate. But that's a little bit more... Like, a person who's in the Proud Boys is undeniably worse than just like a MAGA person, right? Or I would say, just based on my understanding of the Proud Boys and everything, but...
Is the structure of the organization?
I can clean this up.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, the difference here is that I think you are unfamiliar with how broad the concept of Antifa is, because there's lots of people that would call themselves that who all they do is show up to like counter protest.
Same with the right.
Fascists.
Absolutely same with the right.
So,
but we're not talking about the right. We're talking about Proud Boys.
Yes or no? Absolutely the same is true with the right. There are people who call themselves far right who never engage in violence.
Sure.
But now he's broadening it to just far right.
Or that's probably true.
Okay, so you made
no, because you're trying to compare a specific group whose explicit purpose is to be ethno-nationalist with an extremely broad label that can mean a lot of different things. Some people in Antifa are the same as the Proud Boys.
There are people who would call themselves far right who don't believe in ethno-nationalism. Andrew Wilson, as far as I've checked, or as up until now, I've seen no evidence that he's departed from this. You can have the Christian nationalist crew.
Sure.
So I mean, there's no one who's saying there are definitely. Whatever thing you can say about the left, well, it's a diffuse. There's not really any hierarchy. It's just kind of an ideology, and some people are really bad, but some people who believe in it are, just protesting the exact same thing.
No, because you're trying to draw an equivalency between two things that are fundamentally different. Like, if you give me a group on the left who does the same things that the Proud Boys do, then I would agree with you. Your example is not a good one.
In the window,
but now you're giving actions, right? We're working in the wrong categories here. What's going on here? Are we brain breaking here? He keeps listing actions and then trying to expand that to total groups when Roenn over here is trying to just talk about like, okay, well, if we talk about the correct groups, then he's like, okay, what about people that throw bricks? Okay, but
that the Proud Boys do, then I would agree with you. But your example is not a good one.
In the windows of small businesses,
The people that did that were very bad.
Okay.
I agree.
So, okay, this is my point.
But now is he, okay, so we agree with that. Is he about to expand it and then say, so then why can't we condemn the far left like we condemn the far right? He's about to broaden it to groups again.
I even spend all this time qualifying and just go with, of course, anyone on the left who throws bricks in the small businesses of black people in the name of fighting capitalism and whatever, all this bullshit, is as morally degenerate and decrepit as anyone walking with a tiki torch saying, well, we want a white ethno-state.
Because if you had said that, I would have agreed with it, but that's not what you asked, though. You're trying to frame it like you're trying to draw the political landscape as a mirror of each other, where the right and the left, and it's
no, I'm not. Obviously,
just
I'm
as
not.
bad. That's what it comes across
How
as.
could it? Christian nationalism is completely different from communism. So obviously, I'm not drawing a mirror.
No, but what it sounds like is that you're trying to draw a mirror between they're both equally bad. Like if we go to the right, if we go to the left,
no,
they're both
I will say
like,
what I said at the beginning.
Okay.
And then I will give you the last word to try and get the sword that you've on as far as you can. Any individual who engages in behavior that we would characterize as far left, throwing bricks into buildings during Black Lives Matter riots, and any individual who carries a tiki torch and drives into whatever counter protesters, both of those people are equally morally degenerate, and the ideologies that drive them are equally parasitic fundamentally.
I agree with the first part of that, not with the second.
Okay, why? Tell me why throwing a brick in a black person's window is morally superior.
It's not. I just said that the actions are morally equivalent, but the ideologies that drive Antifa versus fascists I cannot say that those are the same thing. The ideology of a fascist versus an anti-fascist are not. I will never say that those two things are the same. Of course, I wouldn't. But what I would say,
I agree. One is anti-fascist, one is fascist.
That's both right.
They're both, when taken to their extreme, morally degenerate, and they're both liable to be taken to their moral to their extreme.
Well, you keep saying evidence taken to its extreme. I don't like that framing. I mean, what I would say.
No, I don't like.
What do you not like, Paul?
Gaslit.
I'm not gaslighting you. What I would say.
This is my new defensive strategy. Anytime I'm in a debate.
Okay, good. Just accuse your.
It's the issue here is it's this weird assumption. I don't meet many people that are. I think P.F. Jung tries to actually be a centrist, not like a centrist like everybody that's just far right, but they say they're centrist, like the Tim Pools and the Dave Rubins. But the problem with this, with what P.F. Jung is thinking, is P.F. Jung is thinking that you have a pool of opinions, and all political opinions are good, but when they become extreme, they become bad, and that's just a very naive or childish way to view opinions. Like if somebody believes, I think that like black people should be slaves, but only for like 5 years, right? Let's not take that to the extreme. Like, is that significantly better than somebody who thinks that like chattel slavery throughout generations should be the case? Or if somebody thinks that, I don't know, like Medicare should be given to people that are 70 years old and older. And then somebody's like, actually, I think Medicare should be 65 and older. That guy's more extreme. Is he worse? Like, it's just such a, like better and worse here don't even mean anything.
Oh, the gaslighting. I love whenever people learn therapy words. No, it's the way that I would frame what I think what you're trying to say is that there are people on both sides who can do things that are just as bad as each other. And I agree with that. So can we leave it there? That I agree. There are some people on the left and some on the right that are just as horrible and evil. I agree with what you're saying. What I don't agree with is whenever
why did it take 5 hours?
I said that at the outset. The thing that I disagreed with was you specifically saying the Proud Boys at Antifa, because fascists and people that call themselves anti-fascists, I will never say that those groups holistically are the same.
Right.
But
I thought about the conspiracy you offered up a couple of weeks ago, suggesting Elon might be a Russian asset, but caveating by saying how difficult it would be to pay off / blackmail someone like Elon. Would a much simpler conspiracy just be that Elon acts as a parrot for the Kremlin in exchange for them botting / driving up viewership? I mean, there's very clearly a huge presence of bots on the platform, and Elon must realize that, right? They probably realize it, but there's not much they can do about it, or combating it is very difficult. However, I haven't like run this mind game like out to its logical end to see where it would actually show up at. But I would imagine that when you become incredibly rich and powerful, you probably don't engage in activity where you do something illegal or immoral in exchange for somebody else doing something illegal and immoral, where you guys are like quid pro quoing each other. Because what would happen then is that person would own you. And if you engage in that type of behavior with everybody, you're setting yourself up for absolute disaster. That'd be my guess, is that those types of exchanges, you probably wouldn't make it very far if you engaged in that behavior regularly. You'd have to be very careful and very selective. Now, the leader of a country like Putin, maybe you could, but Russia would literally own you if you engaged in that type of behavior for the rest of your life. Now, I know when I gave this like conspiracy theory a long time before, I was kind of like half memeing when I said it. I think the actual answer is, I don't think Elon is actually paid off or bought by anybody in any way, like through influence or whatever. I think Elon is legitimately just like buck broken over people on the left hating him. And I think he's like very, very, very sensitive and very Yeah, and very ass pained over the left being mean to him. And I think that explains his entire trajectory politically.
Some people in Antifa certainly are just as bad as fascists. I agree with this.
I want to apologize because it is not fair of me to ask you to defend an indefensible position that you don't even have. Okay, just because your cult leader said it.
Of course.
Doesn't mean you have to go with it.
No, but let's...
People keep bringing up his trans kid, but I doubt that that would affect him very much because... Okay, now I will admit, okay, I only have one kid, so maybe it's wrong for me to extrapolate like this. But like, if you have 12 kids, do you really give a fuck if one of them is a fuck up? Doesn't he have like 10 plus children? Do you really care if one of them, like, if you roll the dice, I mean, at least one of your kids is probably going to be fucked up, right? Doesn't he have, how many children does Elon have? How many children does Elon Musk have? 12. He has 12 kids. Would one kid being trans really mind fuck him? Nah. It's not the trans kid. It's people on the left shitting on him. That's what molded the fuck out of him, guaranteed.
So let's close that out. I answered your question, and what?
Poorly.
No, I answered it very, very well.
Poorly.
No, because you said the version of the question that is, are there people on both sides that are bad?
This is where intellectuals doesn't matter.
No, it's so relevant.
Go back and forth.
It's so relevant.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. If I were inventing an autism test, let's leave it there. No, if I were inventing an autism test, I'd ask this question. I'd say, who is more evil, John Wayne Gacy or Adolf Hitler? Who's more evil?
Oh man, you would have to ask how you define evil, right? The gut reaction is to say Hitler, because Hitler has killed more people, or indirectly was responsible for more people dying. But then the counter is, Hitler at the very least was like a political leader with aspirations. He was helping somebody, ostensibly, right? The Aryan race or the German people or whatever the fuck. John Wayne Gacy was just a crazy serial killer, rapist, right? So he wasn't helping anybody. So his actions were entirely self-driven. He affected far fewer people. Hitler was at least trying to help some people, but he ended up hurting far more people. In terms of like percentage composition, like pure evil, I feel like John Wayne Gacy would be like more evil as a person. But then you have to factor in Hitler made the choice to do evil acts. John Wayne Gacy might have just been fucking crazy, right? Didn't he have like a head injury or something? So is somebody evil if they're just insane? But I think P.F. Jung is just going to say Hitler because he killed more people. That's what he's going to say, though. That's my guess.
I mean, that's a tough one, because I think on a personal level, I think that John Wayne Gacy was probably more evil as an individual because the way he killed people was way more intimate and gratuitous. But Hitler was more evil.
This guy is a true fan. Oh my God, this guy's I'm hodoring into this guy right now.
In terms of like the grandiosity and the raw numbers and the sheer amount of organizing he did.
So it's almost like, even though there's a very categorical distinction between Adolf Hitler and Ted Bundy.
Is that killer famous? I have no idea. I only know about him because he's in a Sufjan Stevens song. I don't even know if it's true. I just know the lyrics to the song.
It's perfectly reasonable to say that both were equally evil.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Paul, is that whenever you...
It's perfectly reasonable to say both were equally evil? Is that true, really? Did Hitler ever rape anybody?
In between Adolf Hitler and Ted Bundy. It's perfectly reasonable to say that both were equally evil.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Paul, is that whenever you reference a group, like the people who were on, like, I don't know, the people who marched with the tiki torches, or you want to talk about like the Oath Keep.
Thingus. A housinoid. What's up? Okay, he'll figure.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yes, a bonger with a horrible mic. Just what I wanted. Yes.
Is my mic that bad?
No, it's okay. Oh, wait, you're not a bonger. Wait, are you?
Nope. I'm Peruvian, actually.
Oh, yikes. I don't know why that's a yikes, but what's up? Okay, what do you got for me? Houses.
So you mostly have it right when it comes to the overall state of consumer pricing.
Good. Give me the wrong part.
The wrong part is when it comes to housing affordability. So lately rates have been going up. And it seems that your argument is that leads housing prices, like overall prices, to go down, which is correct.
Wait.
But
I'm sorry.
Not...
Wait. Repeat that last part again?
Rates go up, so prices go down because like now people have to pay higher mortgages, and so overall, like their overall
maybe
payments,
I'm pretty sure. I don't know when you heard me talk about this, but I can't hedge every single thing I say every single time, but I have said this in the past. Rates going up and rates going down. Like a rate going up can apply pressure downwards on housing prices, because a rate going up should decrease the demand for housing because mortgages are becoming less accessible. However, they can also push up housing prices because obviously rates going up would make the same house would essentially cost more, because now you're paying a greater monthly payment, because if you get the mortgage, it's going to cost more even on the same price. But I think in the end, I'm pretty sure I've looked at I think interest rates and like housing affordability, and I think these two things are almost completely uncorrelated. Like I think they move and like there are other factors in the economy that influence them more, the overall cost, I think. So yeah, if I've said that in the past, I'm just like describing that there are contradictory pressures sometimes, and people want one thing and it might cause another thing, and they aren't always cognizant of that. But no, I don't think there's like a super clear connection between interest rates and housing affordability. I think it's a little bit more disconnected or more complicated than that. So I do acknowledge that for sure.
Yeah, there does seem to be some connection.
Sure.
It is true that there does seem to be some connection, but there are other factors. So overall, like the mechanism is there, but there are also other mechanisms like maybe higher interest rates. The current argument seems to be that like supply is constrained partly, like in a big part because of regulations, but also in a big part because it's just the current stock is not rotating as much, right?
The current what? Say that again.
Stock
Is not.
so rotating as much. So like people who already have their fixed rate mortgages and have been able to refinance. I don't know if refinance is the correct word, but like basically get during the time of lower interest rates, they've been able to renegotiate those interest rates. So like they have the current like very low interest rates. So they're very much disincentivized from getting new housing, like from moving up. And so like and that's also part of why less houses are being built. It's not all completely about like the regulations, although that's a big part, but that's also part of why houses aren't being built, is because people aren't going to buy the new houses because they already have the low interest rates. And so like the houses that people would have moved up or like upsized before with low interest rates and left that home. And so like you would have seen, I think the other day I heard you talk about like the whole like hermit crab thing. It's like that could happen too, even with the regulations. Oh, not as much.
Sure, that would. I imagine the hermit crab thing is probably going to affect renters more than home buyers. Yeah. We do have a problem when it comes to matching consumption for housing, because like it's a similar problem with rent control. If you've got a really good rent controlled unit, even if there's another apartment that might be better for you, you're not going to leave your current apartment because the rent control is so advantageous. It's probably similar for interest rates as well. If your children move out, but you've got a sick fucking home and you've got a 2.25% interest rate or whatever, why the fuck would you sell that and downsize for a 5+% interest rate? You're probably just going to sit there. Yeah. So the consumption is bad and the market isn't moving effectively there. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Now, the overall point that you made, housing affordability, from the data that I've been seeing, and it seems to be really good data from like the Fed itself, they've been writing some pieces on how basically that you're wrong, right? It's like, of course, like housing affordability is a function of interest rates and home prices. Before the pandemic, actually, housing affordability was doing really great. And we also saw overall like income doing great, both nominally and even like in real terms, it was growing a lot.
Sure.
Pandemic came in, lots of unemployment. Deflation, though, so that pushed incomes up a bit. But now the current status is that, with the whole high interest rate environment, high regulatory overload, you do actually, let me look for it because I had it and I can link it to you somehow. Where would you like me to link it to you? Or like, is there a way? Are you even interested in reading this?
Or what? You summarize it for me. I believe in you. Go for it.
Basically, when you take those two things into account, it's like the current housing situation is worse than it was like pre-Great Recession, and it's maybe a little bit better than it was around the time of like the 80s, where there was the whole
Sure, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but usually when
Mhm.
people are talking about the unaffordability of housing, they're usually it feels like they're talking about a trend over the past like 5 decades. Like if we localize in time right now, we talk about over the past like year or two, I'm sure right now, like absolutely right now, unless you're willing to buy a house in cash, you're probably not looking at the most affordable rental or mortgage rates right now, I'm sure. But I mean, like, it seems like there's been a lot of fluctuation in the markets, pre and post 2007, pre and post the pandemic, where it feels like at times there are huge winners in the housing market, but nobody pays attention or cares. And then when there are huge losers, people get like super, super, super ass mad. Yeah, that I guess it's just a frustrating thing. But yeah, I'm sure right now, like in this very point in time, after the pandemic for the past couple of years, housing markets have been probably fairly rough. Sure.
Okay. Would you think that because I would say that that's the big issue, like the big actual issue that America has right now, at least domestically, is like the housing prices. It's like from the estimates that I've been seeing, it's a bit of a pie in the sky dream, but it's like if you lifted all regulations, about like 20 million homes would be built and
where are the regulations preventing homes from being built at? That would be something I'd be curious to know about.
Actually, yeah, I'm curious to know that. From what I've seen, it's like there are some. So I think it's like over 90% of the residential land in the U.S. is single home regulated, or like
single home
like
housing or single family housing.
Like
yeah.
that. I know you don't talk about AJW, or like maybe you don't want to talk about AJW much, but I remember way in the past you had a debate with him, and he was like ranting and raving about how great Houston's housing situation is, and he was wrong about that too. It's like they don't have like regulations per se, but like they don't have on the books, like they're not written as like these are our land use regulations, but they have a bunch of policies that basically amount to housing regulations.
Sure. Okay.
So basically, like all metropolitan areas in the U.S. have like these very tough regulatory frameworks and like there's a lot of power that HOAs have. Although, like I believe, like very recently, Congress passed some legislation about that to somewhat reduce the power of HOAs. But overall, like the regulatory frameworks I would argue at least like 95% of metropolitan areas in the U.S. are not allowing for construction of either higher rises or maybe those happy middle, like mid zoning, kind of like town homes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of structural issues. Not structural. I don't know what you would call it. There's a lot of homeowners, I feel, are incentivized to never allow that to happen, and homeowners are probably your strongest voter base. So you're kind of like fucked there without doing some actual authoritarian like style takeover. Like say like, hey, listen, we're going to start zoning for this, or we're going to start bulldozing this. That just seems to be largely driven by the people that live in a particular area. They don't want to change that. I remember I don't know where you live now, but when I lived in Southern California, I don't know if there's like I never looked this up. There's got to be like a rule or law saying that you're not allowed to build tall buildings there, because there are like very few high rises in all of Southern California. It's like 5 stories is like the fucking limit. I have no idea why. It seems like the most retarded fucking thing in the world to me. But
no, yeah, that's definitely true. And that's like 5 stories is actually being a bit like in the U.S. a lot of residential areas, like sometimes not even 2 stories, like up to 2 stories max.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
But as you also said a bit about what was it, like it's not very. Basically, homeowners are not incentivized to allow for those. Like they're incentivized to have those kinds of regulatory frameworks in their area. The issue I have with that, it's not that you're arguing that, is that homeowners believe that like their home prices or like their home value going up is good for them. But the problem is like every home value is going up.
Yeah.
Right? So
But it is good. It's a short term. It's like you're saying it's good because, well, I could either move to something that fits my needs better and have that value increase, or I could just sit on this asset and have it appreciate. But I think this is also a byproduct of, and I know everybody gets ass pained when I bring this up, but like, this is why I think that it's really bad that Americans primarily build wealth through home ownership, because they're personally highly incentivized to protect that, because that is like their nest egg, is their home. So it makes sense why they would vote to protect that asset with their entire fucking life. Whereas if they were, you know, rentoids, or if they had a significantly higher percentage of their portfolio invested in markets rather than in their single fucking house, then they wouldn't be incentivized to destroy the city so much with their horrible fucking voting records. But I mean, it's all like a huge clusterfuck of a problem. Yeah. Please stop saying that LA has earthquakes so they can't build tall buildings. Please, it's 2024. Okay, please stop spamming that in my chat, you fucking morons. Do you think that earthquakes don't exist in Japan? You don't think that like there are skyscrapers in San Francisco and in LA? They do exist. They do. There's not like, go downtown. Please stop. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I live in Lima. It's a really big city, so I don't really care if someone's gonna talk to me. Like, that's not giving a lot of information. But like, I live in Lima, and it's a city that can, like, it's prone to big earthquakes and has had big earthquakes in the past. And there are some issues with some zoning regulations, but like, it's very common to see like 10-story buildings, 13-story buildings here, and like, they're chock full with apartments and condos, and so like that's a really bad. And also, you go to Chile and Japan, it's like sometimes the buildings are even bigger there, and they're even more prone to earthquakes. But also, I don't know if like the current status seems to favor wealth building through home ownership, though.
Yeah, which I think is really bad.
I'm not even sure. What was that?
I think that's really bad because, like you said before, things like overconsumption of housing, there's all sorts of like really bad negative external effects that are created by that social drive. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I guess from now on we're just gonna agree on stuff. So.
Sure. Okay. Well,
see you. Take care.
Be careful. I love you. Bye. Fuck Peruvians and that guy in a video game.
Keepers of the Proud Boys. These are explicitly far-right ethno-nationalist groups, and you join them. The purpose of it is that you're like, I am a far-right ethno-nationalist. Okay, like I support, even if they don't call it fascism, that's what I think it is. Versus a thing like Antifa is like, some people join it because they're like, I want to throw bricks at people and like do crazy shit. Some people join Antifa, and what they do is they genuinely just do grassroots organizing and they fight fascism and they never pick up a brick. Okay, but every person that joins those far-right organizations joins it for that purpose of doing the thing. That's why it's different.
This is my point about autism.
That makes sense.
That is utterly irrelevant to the question of, at the extremes, are those individuals equally morally degenerate? The answer is yes.
Yes, and I said yes. I answered yes to that question. I believe, and maybe I misheard you, but what I heard at the beginning of this was that you were like, are the individuals that join these groups
equally morally degenerate? Yes.
And I would say that they can be. If they do bad things.
You just agreed.
If they do bad things, then they are. If they engage in random acts of violence and hurting people, then yes.
I should not have unfairly required you to defend an indefensible position.
Here's where this becomes relevant.
For you and
if I had to pick and say, if I had to up and move states, would I rather live in a city where I was in a house surrounded by every one of my neighbors is every member of the Proud Boys or every member of Antifa? I would pick Antifa.
Okay.
That was a good example or a good analogy. Yeah.
You are free to say that in a hypothetical that you will never have to own the reality of, because that's not. First off, they'll never.
Well, but now he's not even going to deal with a hypothetical. But that was a true statement, right? Yeah.
Happen. And I would say to be surrounded by a bunch of people who are the type of people to throw bricks in people's.
Just like I would say, I would much rather be around. I'd much rather live in a community of people who are MAGA than I would a community of people who are all like Nation of Islam or whatever, or like the really crazy, the Yakubian people, or the what's like a sect of Antifa. I'm sure there are probably smaller like radical Antifa fucking groups, but I would much rather live like in a community of MAGA people than there's got to be some extremist far left groups. Somebody will know them. Then Hamas. Yeah, sure. I feel like that's really extreme, but
windows. And so, versus the, it's like it would both
right.
different types of hell, but it both be
okay. The linchpin here is that every rectangle, or what is the thing, like every rectangle is a square, but not every square is a rectangle, or something.
Yeah. Is a rectangle.
It's that idea where
my
it's like
is kicking in.
Right. So of Antifa, there will be plenty of shitty people and some good ones. Of the Proud Boys, it's all going to be shitty people. That's the difference. That is the difference.
It's like nonsense.
It's like
I bet there's funny people who are in the Proud Boys who are not horrible, evil people.
I'm sure there's some funny people.
But how do you know this, by the way? Is this all hypothetical, or do you know people in the Proud Boys or Antifa?
I know every single person in the Proud Boys, and I hate them all.
Good joke.
No, I don't. No, I don't know.
Okay. This is the crazy shit I have ever seen a presidential candidate do in the middle of a campaign. This is the craziest shit. Is this real, or am I about to watch an AI thing? Collect Trump cards. Wait, is he still selling these? Wait, is this current?
This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are.
No shot. Oh, no. I thought the whole point of voting for a billionaire was that he didn't need our money. I thought he was rich.
Had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50
Bro, remember when conservatives used to sell real gold and not digital gold?
all new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some bitcoins. Here's the best
Holding? He has no idea what that means.
thing. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some bitcoins.
You hear the cut they had to do there because he had no idea what the fuck script he was reading?
Really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some bitcoins. Here's the best part. I'm doing great things for my Trump digital card collectors. First, there's the real physical Trump cards. Purchase 15 or more of my Trump digital trading cards and we'll mail you a beautiful physical trading card. It's really, I think, quite something. Each physical trading card has an authentic piece of my suit that I wore for the presidential debate, and people are calling it the knockout suit. I don't know about that, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll cut up the knockout suit, and you're going to get a piece of it, and we'll be randomly autographing 5 of them, a true collector's item. This is something to give your family, your kids, your grandchildren. Number 2 is to purchase 75 of my Trump digital trading cards, and you will also be invited to join me for a gala dinner at my beautiful country club in Jupiter, Florida. We really have tremendous dinners with my collector.
Wait, I want to buy that. Wait, how many of these each? These are going to be like $500 a pop. How much do these cost?
Have a lot of fun together. We're going to have a good time. I'm keeping my Trump digital trading cards at the same price of $99 each.
Jesus Christ.
We've done that right from the beginning. So go to collecttrumpcards.com. It's really easy to buy.
75s? What is that, $7,500 for?
You just need an email address and a credit card or crypto. You know, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying that, so don't miss out.
Who's calling him the crypto Wait, who's saying that?
Need an email address and a credit card or crypto. You know, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying.
You guys donate to me, a millionaire, so that I can donate to Trump, a billionaire, because that's just how the world works. collecttrumpcards.com.
Saying that, so don't miss out. Go to collecttrumpcards.com. Go right now and collect your piece of American history. Let's have fun together and enjoy my Trump cards. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it for a long time. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Let the fight begin.
We accept credit cards and crypto. This is Trump explaining Bitcoin. Conservatives playing 4D chess, introducing trickle-up economics. Asman, reacting to your reaction. Cool. Link me the video after.
So it has been a really long time since I made a video, and then I just did a tweet and I mentioned my cryptocurrency success, and everybody responded and was like, can you please explain cryptocurrency, because I understand it's challenging when you're first getting involved, but...
Did you see Trump not knowing the difference between fentanyl and opioids? Wait, I didn't. Link me. I don't... Wait, isn't fentanyl an opioid? Like, opioids are like a class of substances and fentanyl is an opioid, or is that not true? I don't do these drugs. Or are they just both downers? Yes. Oh. Fuck you guys then. I agree that it's unlikely Elon is engaging in quid pro quo with Russia explicitly, but you said it's probably difficult to combat the bots, but they're not combating the bots, they're welcoming them. Regardless of whether they're colluding or not, it seems like they're a parasympathetic relation. Combating bots is probably really difficult at this point. That'd be my guess. Combating bots is probably incredibly difficult on social media platforms. Because the internet 15 years ago decided to leave behind manual moderation and relies on algorithms to do it, or I guess now we say AI to do it. It's probably an incredibly difficult thing to do.
When you continue and you give your life.
Why is Twitter so uniquely bad at it then? I don't know if Twitter's uniquely bad at it. I don't spend any time yet on Threads or Instagram or Facebook, or all three of those things are just Facebook. Or YouTube. Wait, is all the social media in the world right now basically just Meta and Twitter? It's kind of weird. Okay. Jesus. Okay.
Life to it. You do end up on top. So if you aren't familiar with cryptocurrency, basically what it is it's if you've ever been to a bank, and so you've heard of money, if you go to a bank and you say, hello, I'd like $2, they would hand you $2. Then if you were, so there's an online version of, so when you, so at the bank, you'd take those $2 and you'd say, hey, I'm gonna put those in my wallet. That same wallet, you can actually have a virtual wallet that has, it's kind of like money, but it's not, because it's not real.
This is a troll, right? It is a troll. This is a decent troll.
But it's real to the people who want it to be real. And that's called cryptocurrency. And like we have $1 bills and $5 bills, they have Bitcoins and Ethereum. And you can use those different types of money, coins, to buy things that are also like different alternative versions of what already exists. Like you can buy non-fungible tokens, which are, it's art. That's
Jesus Christ.
You're just invest and you'll be happy.
True.
It's
Which is a bigger problem in our country, would you say?
Opioids.
Bigger than alcohol.
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
And
like,
compare that to fentanyl.
I hate this guy, dude. He literally doesn't know anything about anything. He is a fucking retard. He's so stupid. Sorry, let me listen to the whole thing. Maybe he is.
In other words, oh wow. So why would you do it?
I wouldn't. That's why I don't.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But it's crazy because that's what alcoholism is. I think it's that it trumps the why.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and it just you don't, and you just go to. It's like so. That's why they say that it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's what they say about alcoholism, and it is. It's
Which is a bigger problem in our country, would you say?
Opioids.
Bigger than alcohol.
Oh, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
And compare that to fentanyl.
Oh yeah, well that's the problem is people are making fake opioids because they can't afford real ones, or they're just getting them off the street and then they put fentanyl in them.
Yeah. Fentanyl's like laced into everything now. It's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah, they found some in a baby rat.
I guarantee you that if you were to ask Trump what laced means, he would have no fucking idea. He's just like, I heard it on Law and Order SVU 40 years ago.
Somewhere, I think. I don't even know where that was. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about was like, so there's like the big pharma lobbyists, like there's 1,800 big pharma lobbyists in Washington, D.C.
Right.
There's only 535 total representatives or senators total. So just the fact that there's this whole other almost drug government that's there kind of pushing pushing agendas and influencing things, like how do we stop that, man? It just seems like it's obviously killing people. Like people are dying, It's like, what do we have to do that our own government won't help?
Yeah, what's up?
I have a question. So, Trump's obviously a really stupid person, right?
Yeah.
And
wait, can I check something real quick? Hold on. Can you hear the YouTube video right now? One sec.
Well, you have to stop listening to lobbyists. I was not.
I can hear it.
Cute. Okay, just checking. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, I think Trump's dumb. What's up?
Trump's a pretty dumb guy. But I've never seen. I don't know why reporters don't do this. I feel like if I ever interviewed Trump, this would be like the entire interview.
Just quizzing him.
I don't really know why. Yeah, I don't know why his opponents in debates have never done this. It's like, why not just give him some quiz questions? Hey, Trump, you're a dumb fuck. Tell me, who's the leader of Iraq right now?
Kamala Harris, please. I know somebody listens to my stream who is tangential in the farthest way is connected to her campaign. That absolutely needs to happen at least one time. Please have Kamala Harris ask, yes, Donald Trump, who is the president of Mexico right now? Or who? Just one question like that. Right. Where is Brussels?
Like you could ask him like,
hey, what does NATO stand for?
Like, hey, you lowered taxes during your administration. What did the top rate go to?
No, that's way too precise. Well, actually, wait. I would say careful. You don't ask, because that might be the one question that he might know, just because he might pay the top.
You have to pick a question. There's no way he knows.
Well, right? no, careful, but one that he should know, not one that there's not like what was the capital of Tajikistan in 1840? I don't even know what was the country, right? But it has to be something that he should know. He absolutely should know, and he absolutely doesn't know. That would be
Well, it's just the thing is almost any. I feel like if I was like helping Kamala debate prep, it's like, look, Kamala, he's only going to bring up like maybe 6 things, right? The whole time. Each one of those things, here's like a question you should prod him to answer. That should be relatively basic, but we know Trump doesn't know the answer.
I want to know what the 3 branches of government are and what they're supposed to do. That's what I want to know.
Exactly.
That's a civics question. Did you hear his response? I don't know if you watched my stream. When I think he was doing some EU fucking speech or some bullshit, and somebody asked him if he was concerned about the fall of like Western liberalism.
Yeah, and he started talking about like liberals in an American
context. He started literally talking about West Coast liberalism, like San Francisco and LA. Like he started bringing this up. Yeah. Apparently, he had that debate a long time ago. We didn't know what the nuclear triad meant. Yeah, but.
Yeah, and I really don't know. I don't know. Because I've never seen a member of the media do this. I've never seen any of his political opponents do this when confronted with him. But it seems like it would be so illuminating just to be like, hey, Trump, point out Israel on a map. There's no way he could do it. There's a 0% chance he could point Israel out.
Yeah.
Like, give him a zoomed-in map of just the Middle East, and I don't think he could point out where Israel was.
Probably, yeah.
But I don't know. I was wondering why you think that is. Like, is it because they feel like it's rude? Like, you don't want to be rude to a fucking, like, presidential candidate? Or, like, because it seems obvious to me.
I mean, maybe it might be a rude thing and you come off as aggressive. It might be also that maybe you don't want to set the standard of getting quizzed, because I could totally imagine that people might think that you should know things that maybe it's not fair to expect somebody to know, but like maybe now you start getting quizzed on things and it's like, fuck, like, do you know what the name of the current fucking prime minister of fucking Denmark? I don't even know if Denmark has prime minister or some bullshit like, and now you get fucked. I don't know. Yeah, I could see it like just being a bad standard.
You got to keep the questions like real basic. Obviously, you caveat. Look, it's not reasonable to expect the president to have an encyclopedic knowledge of literally everything. Mm-hmm. But those questions you just mentioned, like, hey, who's the lady that just won the presidential election in Mexico? Like, it's right next to us.
Or even
every president should probably know who the president of Mexico is.
I think even basic civics questions is fine. I think, but.
Basic civics questions, like, I don't know, like you said, what are the roles of the 3 branches of government?
Yeah, what are the 3 branches? What are their roles? What are they supposed to do? Yeah.
Who is the second president?
True.
Just see if he knows what the answer is. I don't know. Yeah, I was curious about that because it seems like an obvious thing to do, but I've just, and everyone seems to know Trump is a fucking complete doofus. But yeah, for some reason it never comes up. Quizzing people on basic shit like that. I think I saw it happen once. I want to say this was a controversy in one of the Obama-Hillary debates in the 2008 primary, where one of the moderators actually did kind of aggressively quiz Hillary Clinton on like who's the ambassador to this or that, and she didn't know the answer. And I think the moderator took a lot of flack in that debate. I don't think it made her look particularly bad. It just made the moderator look super aggressive. But like, it's Hillary Clinton. Like, she's kind of a smart, like, we just kind of know Hillary's a decently intelligent person at the very least, right? Whereas it seems like with Trump, this guy's walking around, must be a below average IQ. I'd be shocked, So I don't know.
Jesus.
It seems pretty wild. Well, what do you think his IQ is, Destiny? I guess the average is 100. Do you think Trump's walking around with a 110 or something? I think he's.
It wouldn't surprise me
IQ.
if he was squarely average or a little below average. As unbelievable as that sounds, I think that's totally possible. Just from the way that I've seen him conduct himself, he's never impressed me ever with any of his knowledge on anything or the way that he puts together thoughts or ideas. Yeah, he just seems to be solidly average or maybe a tad below average. He's not like retarded. He's not like 70 IQ or something, but.
I don't know. No. I'm not saying. I'm not saying he's what are the categories like ignorant moron or whatever the crazy IQ categories are, but. If you told me that Trump's IQ was 95 or 90 or something like that, just like slightly below average or maybe even a standard deviation below, I wouldn't be totally surprised. I mean, this is a guy who, I don't know if Trump is, because he touts himself as a businessman. A lot of people say, oh, Trump knows real estate. Like, he might be a dumbass with everything, but at least he knows real estate. But like,
does he?
as far as I followed his business career, I don't think he's made much money in real estate. Like, I think you can track his wealth, and I think an overwhelming portion of his wealth actually comes from basically his reality TV show shit.
I think that definitely helped, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I saw that like he's made like hundreds of millions of dollars doing things like The Apprentice and stuff like that. Like, it's not a trivial amount of his net worth. It's just from basically being rich. Like, he is rich and famous, so he becomes more rich and famous. And then if you add in all the inheritance, there's really not much money left that he could have made from just like independent business ventures. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he's literally got any avenue of life that he is like particularly intelligent on or has good instincts for, maybe an understanding of like the news cycle or maybe marketing or something like that.
No. Well, marketing,
so?
I think, but only because it's kind of like it's an intuitive thing. Like, I don't know if he's actually sat down and thought about any of it. I think he just kind of like lucked into it.
That's why I say good instincts. Like, I don't think he's got some technical understanding of marketing, but it seems like he's, he seems to, in terms of controlling the media and the narratives and things like that. I mean, maybe he's just falling backwards into something that worked out in 2016. But I don't know. It seems like his strategy in general of just like being really audacious and just dominating the news cycle. I mean, obviously that did work. Yeah. How conscious that was, I guess it's hard to say, but I don't know. Well, anyway, I was just curious about that, Destiny. It was good talking.
Have fun. Be careful. Love you. Can you name 3 Ukraine provinces? Who asked this question? I don't think I could. Luhansk and Donetsk are cities, and they're also provinces as well, right? I think the Donbass is just a region that encompasses both of those. Yeah, Donetsk and Luhansk are regions, and they're cities as well, I believe. But I don't think I could name a third one. Oh, Kharkiv. I guess I could do this now. Oh, wait. Are these all are all the regions? Okay, we got 3. Literally just big city names. Oh, okay. Yeah, fuck it. I'll just memorize some cities then. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, Kherson, Crimea.
So foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home.
Name 3 other Canadian cities: Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. I got you easy. Quebec City, Edmonton, Victoria, I think, is a city near Vancouver. 3. I am a geography god. I am a god. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? That I don't know everything? Because I do. I do.
Home to note that I was the first person to.
What's the capital of Canada? I don't remember. It's some stupid city that nobody ever fucking talks about. Oh shit, hold on. Nobody knows this city. I never knew this city. And then I saw capital. Oh my God, what is it called? Capital of Canada. If I had it in front of me like a list, I could choose it out of a list. Capital of Canada. I just want to say Odessa because it was in front of me in the Ukraine map, but it's not like that. But it's like that. It's got like a shape. It's got a similar shape as that. It's not Mombasa. What am I thinking of? It's right here. It's on my brain. Hold on. Capital of Canada. Oh my God, it's right here. It's right there. Wait, it's not. It's further behind. I don't remember it, and I don't care. I don't care because nobody cares. Fuck, what's it called again? Ottawa. Oh yeah, it's that kind of. What? This sounds like the capital of Japan. Who cares?
To say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, and she has no idea what the hell the names of the.
I also think that this is kind of a low blow because he prepared for this question. He had no fucking idea what 3 provinces were. That you looked this up.
Those provinces are, but you want to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and makes $8 million after has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for.
Nikki equals corrupt. Okay, sorry.
Help us.
Well, you have to stop listening to lobbyists. I was not a big person for lobbyists. And if they have even a little access to like a president or a senator or a congressman or woman,
they're snakes.
They get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
it cuts off before she answers. Was she able to name 3? We watched this debate. It was a long time ago. Nikki Ramaswamy debate. Name 3. 102, 122, 350.
We learned 3 things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know New Jersey to New York. So do everybody a favor. They've been arguing for it for a year. People have been touting their so-called foreign policy and mass destruction in thousands of our sons and daughters to go die.
Why would you cut it? Well, wait, hold on. Is this the response?
I should just mention this on this. Said there was, you're just scum. Clarifying. Wow, never seen that in any debate at any level.
Is there like a full... Holy shit, 2003.
Foreign policy experience is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to know that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Our sons and daughters and our troops. Foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's a competitors right here. The donors right there.
Enough. Let me just say something here. His reasonable peace deal in Ukraine, he made it clear. Give them all the land they've already stolen. Promise Putin you'll never put Ukraine in Russia, and then trust Putin not to have a relationship with China. Let me tell you something. That's no reasonable.
Not my deal. That's not my deal.
Yes, it's exactly what you said. You do this at every debate. You say no. Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. Okay? You say this. You do this. You do this at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to say what I'm not.
Chris Christie, I don't think will ever be president or even close to winning these like any primaries, but he was such a good torpedo. He's so good at fucking taking him out. Watching him short circuit Rubio will always be a highlight experience for me. He's so good at, he's the Terminator on stage, okay?
Done yet.
Well, this is. But he always has to sink into the lava at the end.
Look, this is the 4th debate. The 4th debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a while.
I'm going to respond to that.
Let's say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence Not her positions, her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in a Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman and you should stop insulting her.
So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take several times over. So first of all, I think we just learned something from Chris Christie. We learned three things. We learned three things right there. First of all, Chris Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. So do everybody a favor. Just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this place.
Oh, he hit him up with the fat jokes. He hit him up with the fat jokes.
I think if you're going to actually send your sons and daughters to go die in somebody else's war, you better, excuse me, Chris, I'm speaking, and I'm not done yet.
I haven't heard the time when you weren't
and we're going to be done. So listen up to this. If these people want to send your sons and daughters to go die in Ukraine, they've been arguing for it for a year. $200 billion of our taxpayer money sent over. Neither of them could even name for you the provinces that they actually want to protect.
Billion.
And this is the people who have been touting their so-called foreign policy experience. It is intellectual fraud. These people are lying to you. The same people who told you about weapons and mass destruction in Iraq to justify that invasion didn't know the first thing about it, yet they sent thousands of our sons and daughters to go die. The same people who told you the same in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is still in charge 20 years later. $7 trillion of our national debt due to these toxic neocons. You can put lipstick on a Dick Cheney. It is still a fascist neocon.
Thank you,
Mr.
see that today.
Thank you, Mr. Dick Cheney all over again in this party.
Thank you. Thanks so much for watching.
Wait, so did she ever respond? People said she did. Why did I get linked this clip? She does answer after this. Well, too late. You had a chance and you f***ed up the link, so now I'm just going to assume she never answered.